Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us for the Ocean County School Counselor Association Virtual College Fair. As you are entering this virtual room, you may notice that your camera and microphone are off. You are still able to contact our panelists this evening by asking your questions using the Q&A feature. Beyond that, this session will be recorded and available on our website for your viewing later on. If you are interested in similar sessions such as this, we do have a couple more sessions happening today, this evening, and they are available on our website as well at strivescan.com/OCSCA. So without further ado, we will start with our first school, Winthrop University.
Awesome. Let me go ahead and share my screen here and we will get started. All right. Awesome. Thanks so much, Kyle. I appreciate it. Again, I am from Winthrop University. So my name is Allison Blackwelder. I'm an undergraduate admissions counselor, and I actually cover the entire Northeast territory, which is why I'm joining all of you tonight. So thank you so much for having me, and we'll go ahead and get us kicked off. And I want to be respectful of everyone's time, all of my colleagues. So I'm going to go ahead and get us kicked off just with some general information about Winthrop, give you more on what we're all about, where we're located, and how to apply if that's something you're interested in doing. So Winthrop University, we have been consistently ranked in the top 10 public universities in the South for a couple of decades now. We most recently got our highest ranking as number 6 last year, so something we're very proud of. We are one of only 37 universities in the entire country with all 5 of our arts programs nationally accredited. So that's design, fine arts, music, theater, and dance. So all 5 of those, one of only 37. So if you're interested in arts, Winthrop is absolutely a place to consider. Additionally, we have a 91% student placement rate, right? So everybody after college, you either want to go into a job or into a graduate program, right? Well, 3 to 6 months after graduation at Winthrop University, 91% of our students are in a graduate program or in a job within their field, with a couple of our colleges being right at 100%, our College of Education and our Visual and Performing Arts. And finally, something that we are very proud of, we do have the most diverse student population of all South Carolina colleges, and we are second in the nation for minority student achievement here at Winthrop University. So we are located in a town called Rock Hill, South Carolina. We're just 30 minutes south of Charlotte, North Carolina. So we're right below that North Carolina border. And Charlotte is the largest city in the Carolinas. I think that Rock Hill really offers a best of both worlds feeling. You get the kind of small town community vibe, but you have the big city right down the road. And although we're a little smaller, we are growing. We're an old textile mill town turned international sports tourism town. We have our Riverwalk district. The Carolina Panthers are moving their training facility to Rock Hill, South Carolina, which is really exciting. And our Knowledge Park downtown area boasts a lot of food trucks and events all the time. A little bit about our numbers. We have about 6,000 total students, with about 5,000 of them being undergraduates. So we have less graduate students, but I think that really enhances your experience as an undergraduate if you're coming in as an undergraduate student, because you get a lot of opportunities that maybe at some larger universities, graduate students would really have priority of. And if you're coming in as a first year student, we do usually have around 1,000 to 1,100 total. So we're considered the smaller end of medium. We have a lot of academic and leadership opportunities at Winthrop. These are just a few. We do have an honors program. Of course, there are some perks to our honors program. We offer a lot of study abroad options, and you can start undergraduate research and lead your own research starting your freshman year. We have 43 undergraduate majors, a whole slew of concentrations. If small class sizes is something that you're interested in, you will absolutely find that at Winthrop. Our average class size is right at 21, but if you ask any student on campus, they're going to tell you that most of their classes are probably going to be about 10 or 15 students total. And of course, this really lends to our small 13 to 1 student professor ratio. So at Winthrop, students really just love that they are able to build those relationships with their professors that not only helps them while they're on campus, but also when they graduate. And of course, we have endless things to do at Winthrop. I won't list all 160 plus student organizations, but you can find them online. These include everything from, any kind of sports, religious affiliated, political affiliated, community service, anything you can think of. We have 18 Greek organizations, a lot of intramural sports. And although we are a little bit smaller, we are part of the Division I, the Big South Conference. Our men's basketball team did make it to the big dance. Unfortunately, we lost to Villanova, but it's just a lot of fun when those games and events happen. All right, so we do have a couple of ways to become a Winthrop Eagle, and we are on a rolling admissions basis. If you can apply up until basically when classes start. This is our traditional route, and those top 3 things, if you want to take a picture of this while it's up, those top 3 things are what we're looking for if you go this route: your transcript, your test scores, and that completed online application. The test scores do need to be official from the testing agency. If you want to go the test optional route, you can absolutely do that as well. Again, these top 3 things are what we will need: the high school transcript, the completed online application. But instead of those test scores, what we'll ask for is a short answer essay as a writing sample. And for everybody who might be thinking about applying, our scholarship deadline to be eligible for Winthrop scholarships is April 1st. So you still have a little bit, about a week left to get all of those required materials in. All right, and we do have some scholarship opportunities really quickly. Our Winthrop scholarships are just our merit-based scholarships, and those are awarded automatically. So once you get all of those materials in, they're awarded automatically based on your academic criteria. Talent scholarships, meaning visual performing arts. For visual, you do have to have a portfolio. For performing, you do have to come in for an audition or do that virtually. One unique one that we have is our close scholarship. If you are interested in volunteer work, community service work, I can absolutely give you some more information about that one. And since you are all out-of-state students, we do offer out-of-state waivers here at Winthrop University for our out-of-state students. If you'd like to connect with us, you can find us here. Please join us on our Winthrop Admissions Instagram. That's where going to be best for updates. But that is all I have. Here's my information. And I thank you very much. I'm going to pass it along to my colleague.
Thank you so much. Up next, we have Wagner College.
Hi, everyone. I'm Stephanie Gersulo. I'm an admissions counselor at Wagner College, and as an alum of Wagner, I can honestly say that I lived and loved the Wagner experience. We have so much to offer, but the best thing about Wagner is that you get a really intimate learning experience while having all the perks that a bigger university would offer. So I'm going to jump right in and go over some fast facts. We are one of 5 boroughs in New York City. We're located in Staten Island, New York, and Staten Island is sort of unique. It's known as the Borough Park, so all the green spaces that you see on Staten Island, you'll also see on our beautiful 100-acre campus. And while you're walking around that campus, you're going to see lots of familiar faces because we have about 1,800 undergraduate students and about 375 grad students. So small, tight-knit campus community, but within that close-knit community, you'll meet students from all over the place because you have students from about 45 different states and 29 different countries. So it goes without saying that the majority of our students do live on campus. We're definitely not a suitcase school, and all the life that you see during the week, you're going to see on the weekends as well. Another perk of a small school is that you have really small classes. Our average class size is about 20 students, and there's lots of professor attention. Your professors are going to know your strengths, they're going to know your weaknesses, and they're going to help you take your education to the next step. We're a liberal arts school, so there's lots of different majors and minors for you to choose from. Some of our most popular are nursing, health sciences, business, education, sports administration. The list really does go on and on. But our 2 most competitive programs are theater performance, which we are the nation's 3rd-ranked theater program, and our 5-year accelerated physician assistant program. Both those majors do require a separate application step. This right here is a bird's eye view of Wagner. Like I said, lots of green spaces. And what's nice about being on a 100-acre campus is that you're never too far from another building. So you won't have a long walk on a really hot day or on a really cold, snowy day either. I mentioned before that we have an active campus life. And it is thanks largely in part to our active Office of Campus Life. We have about 70 different clubs on campus, and they're recreational, lifestyle, honors, networking, professional, all different types of clubs, and you can start your own club. It's very easy. We also have Division I athletics. So there's lots of school spirit and camaraderie. It's nice whether you're an athlete or not, because you're really going to feel like you're part of a community. We also have Greek life. It's about 12 to 15% of students involved in Greek life, but it's there for those who want it, and those who don't want it don't have to be a part of it if they don't want. I was involved in Greek life at Wagner, and I had an awesome experience, but I was friends with people who weren't, so it's a win-win for everyone. And as I mentioned, we have one of the third ranked programs for theater. So with that, you get awesome performances of students who eventually do many times do end up on Broadway. I went with someone to Wagner who ended up being Connor in Dear Evan Hansen. So cool things like that for sure. This is the view from our football field, which is directly across the street from our main campus. What you're looking at right there is the Verrazano Bridge. It connects Staten Island and Brooklyn, so not a bad view while you support your Seahawks. And this right here is where our men's baseball team plays at the Richmond County Savings Bank Ballpark. And what you're looking at is New York City right there. It's lower Manhattan, and you can kind of see the Freedom Tower. So again, not a bad view on a nice spring day. And it kind of leads me to my next point. We like to say that we give students the best of both worlds. You have a traditional collegiate campus on Staten Island, but you have Manhattan and all of the perks right within reach. And we help bridge that connection with the free shuttle that we have on campus for students. It runs 7 days a week from like 6 a.m. to about 12:30 a.m. And it'll take students to the Staten Island ferry. It's about a 10-minute shuttle ride. And then once you're on the ferry, you just hop right on and you can get to Manhattan in 25 minutes. So from campus to Manhattan, it's about 40 minutes and it's all fast, free, and easy. And it's why our students are taking advantage of internship opportunities and networking opportunities and all things like that. And I should say every single student is required to have an internship in order to graduate. Our students are interning well before their senior year, and our Career Service Center will help you kind of get those internships. I know the financial aspect is a big part of the college decision process, and about 94% of our students are receiving some type of financial aid. So there's lots of ways we can help offset the cost of tuition. First and foremost, merit scholarships. Every single student who applies is automatically considered for one, and you don't have to do anything extra. We also have athletic aid, and then some specialized scholarships like theater and music. We also launched an esports team not long ago. So if you're a gamer, there might be scholarship opportunity there. And then, of course, if you submit the FAFSA, and usually our priority deadline is January 15th, you will then get a packet with all your city, state, federal, and institutional-based aid. And that institutional aid can come in the form of grants from Wagner, and they can range from about $1,500 to sometimes $5,000 or $10,000. So lots of ways to help offset the cost of tuition. And this slide is important when it comes time to apply. Just so you know, our typical GPA is about an 89-90 average, or about a 3.5. And if you're submitting your scores, we look for about a 1,200 on the SAT and a 26 on the ACT. We are test optional, so it's totally up to you if you want to submit your scores. You'll still be considered for all the same merit scholarships. Two important deadlines, December 1st and February 1st. December 1st is our early action deadline. February 1st is regular decision, totally up to you. And early action is non-binding, just get your decision earlier. However, if you are applying for a physician assistant, theater performance, or design technology and management, you must apply by December 1st. That's just the hard deadline. And the reason being there is, interview and audition components with both. This slide just kind of sums up Wagner in a nutshell. No matter what your interest is, whether it's the medical field, STEM, business, finance, the arts, no matter what it is, we kind of help our students get there. Here are a couple of different ways you can connect with us. We're on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Wagner College. And then we also have our own admissions Instagram at Wagner Admissions. Be sure to check it out. We post things about upcoming events, if we have some fee waivers going on and things like that. And my email is right down there, s.grasulo@wagner.edu. I work specifically with New Jersey students, so I'd be happy to connect with all of you. Thanks so much. And I'll hand it over to the next presenter.
Thank you. Up next, we have Widener University.
All right, just trying to get my screen set up. Kylie, are you able to see my screen or no?
Yes, I can see your PowerPoint.
Okay, perfect. I just want to make sure. Thank you. All right, thank you for having me tonight. My name is Ryan McNone. I'm one of the assistant directors at Widener, and I work with students directly from Ocean County. Normally, I really look forward to the fairs at the arena. I'm not sure what they call it these days. Seems like it changes names frequently. Usually they have one in the fall, one in the spring. Hopefully I'll be able to meet you students and parents in the fall. Widener University is in Chester, Pennsylvania. That's the picture of our campus. So we have one campus in Chester, Pennsylvania. We also have two law schools as well, but I represent the undergraduate campus. That picture right there, that's the most iconic building on campus. We have been around since 1821. We were formerly a military college. became Widener College in 1970 and Widener University in 1979. But if you decide to visit campus, you'll probably see that building. Ironically, the president has her office in that building, as well as some administrative offices, but a lot of students don't really go in that building. All right, so as I mentioned, we're in Chester, Pennsylvania, just south of Philadelphia, about 20 minutes from Center City, Philadelphia, literally right off I-95. Our campus backs up to the highway. From the Ocean County area, you're looking about 90 minutes, maybe 2 hours if you're at the further end of the county. So it's not too far from your neck of the woods. 110-acre campus, so we're fairly small, compact university. We have a number of academic buildings on campus: University Center, fraternity and sorority houses, academic support buildings, as well as a number of dormitories as well. Students can live on campus. We do offer dorms for our freshman students. There are 8 dorms for our freshman students. We have about 3,000 undergraduate students. Our typical class we bring in is anywhere from 725 to 750 freshmen. So we are a fairly small university and fairly small campus, but it doesn't feel that way. It's a nice sized campus. We offer a 13-to-1 student faculty ratio. We average 25 students per class, so it's pretty manageable, not that much different than what you're experiencing in high school. For a small school, we have quite a few majors to choose from, over 40 majors and minors to choose from. We have a number of parallel programs or pathway programs that will take students from grad to our graduate programs. Some new graduate programs for fall 2021 and beyond include physician's assistants and speech, language, and pathology. So we're excited about that. Another new grad program we introduced a couple years ago is occupational therapy. Another popular grad program is physical therapy as well. And I know that we have a lot of students interested in PT or OT as well. But other popular majors include nursing, engineering, business, all areas of business, sciences, education, social work, psychology, sociology, et cetera. So I'm not going to name all the majors, but we have quite a few to choose from. So other than academics, we have a lot of clubs, athletics to get involved in. We are a D3 school. New to Widener fall 2019 was esports. So if you're a gamer, we'd love to have you bring your that spirit to us and play a number of games against other colleges and universities in the region. There's quite like I said, so much to do on campus. You can obviously join the athletic team. We have different theme weeks. We have trips to Philly. We have bingos popular on campus. We have theater groups. We have musicals on campus. A couple other small little areas too that students go to. Media is close by, which is a nice little downtown. So shopping or restaurants or just exploring, there's a lot to do in and around campus. So the whole point of going to college, obviously, is to get an education, but you want to try to get the job. We will help you find those opportunities. We have a lot of great relationships with employers in the area, the Philadelphia Union, the Eagles, Wawa. If you're not familiar with Wawa, I'm sure you are in the Ocean County area. We have relationships with that organization. So a lot of great internship, co-op, research, depending on your major. Co-op, again, is a great way to get your foot in the door with a job. Hopefully that will help you land a job after you graduate. 91% of our grads from 2020 were employed or in grad school, which is exciting despite the pandemic. So freshmen can apply as current seniors, seniors who are 2022, you can apply as early as August 1st. So you will be a senior soon. So August 1st, leading up to your senior year is the first day students can apply. Students can apply on our website or the Common App. So we accept Widener app or Common App. Both are free. Thereafter, we'll just need your high school transcript and SAT or ACT scores. We are test optional, so you do not need to submit a test scores. We are also early action. That deadline is November 1st. So just keep that in mind. Early action is non-binding. It's just that you'll get a decision sooner, and priority funding for financial aid as well. Students will also receive consideration for a merit scholarship as well, all students who apply. And then also we encourage you to fill out your FAFSA. October 1st of your senior year is the first date you can fill out your FAFSA. So we encourage all students to fill out the FAFSA as well. We do, again, November 1st is the first kind of deadline for acceptances. Hopefully you can apply then. My time is up. One other thing, just we encourage you to visit. We have campus tours and also virtual events as well, but thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. As a reminder to the students, feel free to write in the Q&A to our panelists if you have any questions. And last but not least, we have Verto Education.
Awesome, thank you. So let me also share. So with Verto, we're a little bit different than the other traditional colleges here. What Verto offers is we are actually a fully accredited first semester of college traveling around the world. So we're really putting study abroad front and center for our students. My computer is loading very slowly, I apologize. So with Verto, you're getting a super well-rounded experience. We do highlight experiential learning, and of course, you're becoming a global citizen at the same time. We are keeping our students in that 4-year graduation timeline because we are an accredited college semester. So while you're with Verto, you are going to be taking 4 college courses and earning 16 college credits. They're all going to be those freshman gen eds. Within Verto, we've got a couple main pillars that are pretty important to note. The first is the best first year of college. I think that just looks at everything about our semesters and what we offer our students. The second pillar is admissions to a great fit school. So we actually partner with 58 and counting universities all across the states, and I'll talk about that in just a sec. And then the third pillar is an affordable college education. Part of our mission as an organization is to make higher education and international travel more affordable for every student. So on our semesters, you're going to be doing a lot of stuff. So we have 2 different types of semesters. You're looking at either on campus or field semesters. So we have 6 different options. You get to choose where you want to go. Our campus semesters are England, Italy, and Spain. Our field semesters are Costa Rica, Hawaii, and the South Pacific. So Hawaii is our one domestic option. Everywhere else is traveling international. We're really trying to bring this cultural connection to our students. So being less like a traveler and less like a tourist and more like a community member. The academics, as I mentioned, 16 credits. They're freshman gen eds, but they're really catered to where you are. And for example, in Costa Rica, instead of just taking a general history class, you'd be taking modern Latin American history. So pretty awesome to be able to learn about where you actually are and get that more tangible learning experience. On our field semesters, we also do partner with local organizations. So students are actually working on projects that relate exactly to what they're learning about in the classroom. We have a really awesome faculty, really awesome staff. You're with a group of Verto students, and they're being taught by our Verto professors. And you also have our program leaders there, and they're doing all the fun excursions and all that stuff. It is small class sizes, so we've got 20 to 25 students per class, and our professors have weekly check-ins with our students. There's some pretty awesome things that we weave into our semesters as well. One of them is a life skills class and a purpose finding workshop. So this is really just learning about everything from different ways to study for tests and learning about financial literacy or, what are positive relationships and how to create boundaries. So there's a lot going on within these 3 months, but it's going to be really awesome, I think, for every student. Our on-campus semesters, as I mentioned, they're all in Europe. These are more traditional, more shaped like study abroad. So you have that freedom and flexibility to travel around the city and kind of do your own thing when you're not in class. You're still living with Verto students and still being taught by our professors. We do excursions for each of our semester options. They're a lot of fun. They're informational. They're tied into your classes. So a lot of variety there. The field semesters are on a block schedule. So every month you're focusing on a different course. And every month you're also in a different location. So for South Pacific, for example, we travel from Fiji to New Zealand to Australia. We're staying in home bases with your group of 20 students and our staff there together. Also a lot of excursions, a lot of fun stuff. We do have a full year-long honors program. So you would start in London or South Pacific and end in our Costa Rica semester. We are still enrolling students for our honors semester. We're looking for really awesome academically and personally motivated students. Second pillar, admissions to a great fit school. So when you apply to Verto, it's a free application all across the board. We do have a 2.5 minimum GPA. We are test optional. We have a rolling admissions, so no hard deadlines, and we're no strings attached. When you apply to Verto, you can apply to up to 5 of our partner universities. What that means is you're getting a holistic review from these colleges. It is a free application to those schools as well, and it's a quicker turnaround. So you're getting your admissions decision in 2 to 4 weeks. These are just a couple of our partner colleges. As I mentioned, we partner with 58 schools currently, and we're getting more and more all the time. With that being said, we do have 27 of our partner schools who have a guaranteed admission. This is post your Verto semester. If you keep certain requirements that are determined by each school, then you're guaranteed an acceptance into those 27 colleges. So affordability, last and not least, we aim to be as affordable, if not much more affordable than a traditional four-year university. Our tuition ranges from $15,000 to $25,000 starting cost. That includes 3 meals a day. That includes lodging, all the excursions that we're going on. So for snorkeling in Fiji, you don't have to pay extra for that. That being said, we do have a lot of options to help students lower that cost. So we do accept federal financial aid. We accept external scholarships, savings plans. We do have institutional aid as well. So we have an International Leadership Award, which is our merit and character-based scholarship. And then we have an opportunity grant, which is needs-based, which can lower your tuition by $5,000 or even $10,000, which is pretty incredible. If you're interested in getting more information, definitely check us out. You can follow us on Instagram. We actually do have quite a few students on our semesters right now. Thank you so much.
Thank you. At this time, I wanted to do a roundtable of questions with our panelists. So let me share screen. So going in the order of our panelists, what advice would you give someone going through the college search process? So let us begin with Winthrop.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that all of us could agree that we could probably give you several pieces of advice, but I think I would just start by saying to just ask questions. No question is too big or too small, and don't forget that not only these colleges might be looking at you and reviewing your application, but it's also an opportunity for you to review the college as well, for you to interview the college. And I would definitely encourage you to stick with your values. And a part of that is absolutely just asking any questions that you have. It's a big decision. It's a big process. So please, please, please ask us questions. Again, nothing is too big or too small for us.
Thank you. Wagner?
Sure. I guess my big piece of advice would be to keep your options open. Don't go in with a closed mind of what you think you might want. I always like to tell students visit a small, a medium-sized, and a big-sized school because then you really will get a taste for it. And go with your gut. If you get a gut feeling, sometimes it's meant to be, because when you click with a school, you'll know about it. And then of course take advantage of all the virtual opportunities. Maybe you can't physically visit a campus right now, but there's lots of virtual ways to connect, and you can really get a good feel for a campus even by connecting virtually with people there.
Thank you. Widener?
Sorry, the lighting's bad in here. I would try to say, be as pragmatic as possible about the process. Really kind of go into it knowing kind of what you want out of a school. Sometimes students want a larger school feel, or they want a smaller college, or, the size of the school, I guess, and peripheral activities. I guess just try to come into it with a plan of attack, and definitely try to visit. Virtually is good for now, but I really think students and families need to start visiting campuses to get an understanding of what, what it's like to set foot on campus. So try to make a list or have a mental list and really try to stay connected to the college, follow them on their social media pages, and really just try to immerse yourself, and see if you feel yourself, when you visit, see if you can see yourself there on campus, whenever you start your freshman year.
And Verto.
It's hard to go at the end, but yeah, I second what everyone else said. And I think just don't let the pressures that is being put on you by schools or parents or guardians or whoever, try not to let that get you down and stress you out. Getting started as early as you can and trying to stay as organized is going to be really helpful in the long run. But yeah, be kind to yourself.
Right. So the next question I have for our panelists would be, what is your favorite event or tradition on your campus?
All right. So I'm a sucker for the Christmas aesthetic. So I think just one of my favorites is we have this huge magnolia tree at the entrance of our campus, and every single year we have an annual tree lighting, and it's just really beautiful and a great moment. So I'd say there are several, but I'd say that's probably one that just like always makes me really, really giddy.
Thank you. Wagner?
My favorite campus event is definitely Wagner Stock. It's usually right in the spring, kind of right before finals are starting. And it's this big event that takes place on our oval in front of our main campus. And there are food trucks and vendors and live music and big bouncy houses, which shouldn't make sense, but it totally does. So it's just lots of fun and a great way to release some stress. And it all leads up to like a big live music concert at the end. So definitely it's a fun way to sort of end the semester.
Thank you. Widener? Oh, yeah.
So we are the Widener Pride, and we have 3 mascots, Chester, Melrose, and Legacy, and we have 3 lion statues outside Founders Hall, our nursing facility. And rumor has it that if you pet the nose of the lions, you will do well on your upcoming test or exam. So that's a fun tradition we like on campus. So a lot of times we see students rubbing the noses of the lions to get good luck for their upcoming test.
And Verto.
Yeah, so we don't have a ton of traditions because we're 6 different locations and relatively new to the higher ed realm. But one thing that I think is really awesome that has been a tradition for one of our locations is that when our students do arrive in Fiji, the local community members there actually have a traditional welcoming ceremony, and they all get together and drink kava, which is this kind of gross tasting drink made out of a root, but it's a very traditional, very traditional ceremony for Fiji. And I think that's pretty awesome. Our students really love it.
Thank you. And my last question for our panelists this evening is, give an interesting or fun fact about your school or program.
Yeah. So I just think it's really interesting for Winthrop. We were actually founded in 1886 in Columbia, South Carolina, which is about an hour away from where we are now, as a women's teaching college. So we had this one schoolhouse, was all brick. And we actually, once we moved to Rock Hill in 1896, they moved that schoolhouse brick by brick up to campus. And so now it's just housed as a landmark here on campus. And it's really interesting just to kind of be able to see, the transformation from then until now.
I guess the fun fact about Wagner is that our freshman dorm is called Harborview Hall, and it actually gets its name because it's our tallest building on campus. And depending on where your room is, you see these really awesome views of New York City Harbor. So you really have the harbor view. So it's really cool. And for students who are, stay over the summer, they'll see like fireworks from the July 4th fireworks show and things like that. So that's definitely really cool and a fun fact, I think.
One of the cool things about Widener is, I mentioned earlier in my presentation that Widener has undergraduate campus in Chester. We also have 2 law schools, one in Delaware, one in Harrisburg. Current President Joe Biden taught at our law school, which is pretty cool. So, and then former President Barack Obama visited Widener's campus back in 2008 while he was campaigning. So we have some presidential love on campus.
All right, last but not least, Verto.
Yeah, I think there are some pretty cool, fun, and interesting facts about Verto. I think the one that takes the cake in my world, at least, is that if you do a full year with us, you could be traveling to 5 different countries in your first year of college, which is pretty rad if that's your thing.
All right, thank you, panelists, for answering my roundtable questions. I appreciate it. And that really concludes our session this evening. So thank you, students and families, for joining us. As you exit out of this session, you will be presented with a quick survey. Any feedback would be appreciated. We do have a couple other sessions happening with the Ocean County, so that is available on our website. And lastly, the recording for tonight's session will be available online as well at strivescan.com/OCSCA. So thank you again for joining us, and we wish you the best of luck during your college search. Have a great evening, everybody.